All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Microsoft E3 2018 press conference recap and reactions stream slash video. I've got a lot to cover. Microsoft went almost a full 2 hours in their press conference, and I'm going to squeeze that until maybe about an hour, maybe a little longer for you, so you definitely don't have to watch the whole thing. Microsoft, by far, covered a ridiculous amount of games in one conference, maybe some of the most amount of games I've ever seen in one single press conference at E3, but the main running theme you're going to see here during my recap of this press conference is that even though they did cover a lot of great games that sound great, and, you know, some of these even had solid release dates for the first time, which is excellent, yeah, not a lot of Microsoft exclusives that really got a lot of attention. And what I mean by that is they're like, oh, you know, Xbox, the best way to play. And then they're like, okay, what are the exclusives? And then when they finally get to them, you're like, okay, anything else? And then here's a good game, but it's cross-platform. So we'll talk about that as we go through the press conference recap. So first of all, it's got to be said, I think this is pretty hilarious. Phil Spencer, obviously the head of Xbox, comes out, and he's the one who leads the press conference, which is fine. He's a good guy. People like him. He's very charismatic, etc. But he literally mentioned Mixer probably about a dozen name drops throughout the press conference when he's just trying to wedge it into stuff, and you're like, what? If you guys don't know, Mixer is the Microsoft-owned streaming service. They're trying very desperately to compete with places like Twitch, and they're failing miserably. Like, no one, almost no one, uses Mixer unless they get paid to do so. And what I mean by that is, you know, obviously Microsoft tries to promote, so they pay certain streamers and the like to try to use their business. Obviously, people who are the PR guys for Microsoft, like Major Nelson and stuff, use it. But for the most part, everyone uses Twitch to stream, and then probably second place would be YouTube. Mixer, a distant third. So it's hilarious to see them name drop Mixer a million times during this press conference. And half the people watching are like, what's Mixer? I don't even know what it is. And the other half of us are just kind of chuckling to ourselves that they're really desperately trying to promote a streaming platform that they should have never launched to begin with. But anyway, let's get past that and get to the actual information of the press conference. Halo Infinite, a new Halo game. And we know nothing about it. All it does is it shows a planet with, like, wild rhinos running through it and a squad of, it looks like generic troops walking across the planet. And all of a sudden cut to Master Chief with his helmet off, and he puts his helmet on, and he puts some kind of a token or a microchip in the back of his helmet. Halo Infinite. And then Phil Spencer comes out, oh, it's going to be an amazing way to play Halo, and then he doesn't explain anything about it. And you're like, is this a new game? Is this a new way to play Halo? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're watching it, and you're like, I don't really understand what Halo Infinite is. And he doesn't explain. It just ends. It doesn't even go back to it for the rest of the press conference. So apparently there's something new Halo coming, but we have no idea what the hell it is besides it's called Halo Infinite, and I don't know how that's supposed to promote it. At least give us some information. They gave us none. It's just a shameless tease, basically. Okay? By the way, shout out to Pass the Curry, who just subscribed to the channel. All right, so much falling along lines with the same thing that EA did at their press conference. Phil Spencer feels the need, before he even gives any information about anything, to say, welcome to all of our fans at FanFest, which, if you guys don't know, Xbox FanFest was something you had to pay to enter. It's a way that you pay for this special Microsoft event at E3, and you get to play all their games hands-on. He goes, oh, don't worry, all the proceeds that you guys paid to go to FanFest go to Gamers Outreach, a non-for-profit, a charity of ours. And I'm like, I'm going to say this again. I said this during my EA recap. I'll say it again. For me, charity is a thing that's meant to be done for the sake of doing good, not to then, after the fact, do self-promotion to benefit yourself. So it's great that they did this Xbox FanFest. They donated all the proceeds to the Gamers Outreach. Why do you need to immediately, as soon as your press conference opens, promote that? Like, look at us, we're the good guys. Just do the fucking charity and stop gloating about it. You know what I mean? I just don't understand. Two companies now, the first two press conferences at E3 both did it. Is every single company now going to be talking about all their non-for-profit amazing things they do, so we don't think that they're big evil corporations? It's ridiculous. Just fucking do the good thing and stop trying to get attention for it. All right. So then we finally get into the meat of the conference. He says, I'm going to announce 50 games, 18 will be Microsoft exclusives, and 15 will be world premieres. So the thing I did is every single time they said exclusive, I actually wrote down exclusive on my piece of paper so that we would actually know what's exclusive and what's not. And quite frankly, he said there were 18 exclusives. Yeah, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10. So apparently the other 8 exclusives were probably in a montage, which I'll tell you about later. But you'll know if it's an exclusive, I'll tell you. So first of all, the first one, exclusive. Ori 2. So remember Ori and the Blind Forest, that Metroidvania style game that had really pretty visuals and some really feels in the plot of it. I've tried playing it. Quite frankly, I thought the gameplay was alright, but my stream viewers fell asleep. I'm not even kidding. Like, they told me about not even an hour into the game that it was the most boring thing they've ever seen. It's like watching paint dry. Stop playing it, so I did. But there's a sequel coming out. It does look pretty, and now it looks like there's a playable owl character as well. And that's it. You don't really get any information on when it's coming out, besides it is coming out, okay? Up next was a world premiere. Alright, world premiere. And probably one of the biggest announcements of the conference, because it, right off the bat, at the beginning of Microsoft's conference, answered a question we all had burning inside of us for the past couple of weeks. What is the new game from Software? Is it Tenchu? Is it a different franchise altogether? Is it another spin on Bloodborne? What is it? And we finally got our answer. It's a game called Sekiro, which looks like a combination of, say, Nioh, because it basically has all the ancient Japanese samurai-style culture infused with the gameplay of Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Definitely the fights look like that. Like, they're big, giant boss enemies that could kill you with only a couple hits, doing giant swings, and you need to either parry or dodge out of the way and counterattack. But one of the big mechanics of this game is apparently that you revive. The actual tagline of the game is Shadows Die Twice, and even in the narration that they're giving you during this gameplay trailer, they say, you will be very hard to kill. And so you die to a boss, you get back up, and then you counterattack the boss from behind because he thinks you're dead. So that's kind of interesting. Does this mean this is a game where it's easier than, say, Dark Souls or Bloodborne because you get an auto-revive mechanic at least once? Or is this a gameplay mechanic that's expected? Maybe there's certain bosses you can't even kill until you die once and then you can attack them? I don't know. But it is certainly not a console exclusive. It's going to be, multi-platform. Looks good. The graphics in particular looked quite good. It kind of looked like Bloodborne with samurai. Okay, that's like the best comparison I could give it. And it looked good, and it says coming out in 2019, and that's it. So there you go. That's probably one of the biggest things that I saw at the Microsoft press conference. Then Todd Howard came out from Bethesda, and he says, later tonight we'll do our conference. We'll announce a lot more, but I just wanted to give you a teaser of a few things. First of all, I wanted to let you know Fallout 4, as of right now, is available on Xbox Game Pass. So if you're the monthly subscriber to Xbox Game Pass, you can play Fallout 4's full game right now. But I want to show you a little bit about Fallout 76. He says it is a full-on prequel. It takes place way before the plot lines of all the other existing Fallout games, and it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4, which when you hear that, you're like, so I guess it sounds like it's a mainstream Fallout game. It's not going to be some throwaway multiplayer game or a survival game. It sounds like it's going to be a regular Fallout game from the way he's describing it. And basically he says it takes place in the hills of West Virginia, and it's a prequel when the people are first coming out of the vaults for the very first time. It shows some plantations. It shows power armor. It shows Ron Perlman as the narrator. And it's basically the trailer that they already released. But it's cool that he gave us a little bit more background. And that was it. It wasn't actually more information than we really previously had. But it was nice to see Todd Howard at the press conference. And I'm very excited to see what more they have to say about, Fallout 76 later tonight at their own press conference. Okay. Oh, by the way, shout out to Adam VGE, who resubbed to the channel for the 5th month in a row and asked me if I'm going to play Fire Emblem. Right now, Fire Emblem is the last thing on my radar, and I have no plans to play it in the near future. Don't Nod, who released Life is Strange, and right now I'm playing a game from them, Vampire, announced a new game during Microsoft's press conference, although it's not a console exclusive. It's a game set in the Life is Strange universe. And it says that it will actually launch on the Xbox Store June 26th for free. Don't ask me how they're selling a game for free and how that's going to work. Maybe it's just a demo episode and you have to buy the full thing for free. But it's called The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. It's a young boy who's basically playing pretend in his yard like he's a superhero and he's fighting supervillains and he's turning different things in his yard into enemies and things. And it's basically just like Life is Strange, where it's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure kind of game. I don't know if there's going to be any supernatural powers. I think it'll be explained more if there are. It's his imagination running away with him. But it's the same graphical style, the same narrative style presentation, the same kind of deal as Life is Strange, only now it's with a new character. Again, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. I guess we're all going to find out what the hell it is on June 26th when it's actually released, because right now it's not really clear. How is there a business model where you're giving us the game for free? It doesn't make sense, right? Like I said, maybe it's a demo or a teaser on the 26th. And then maybe they're going to fast forward and they're going to say, now buy the game for a full $20, $30 episodic coming out in the next year or something. I guess we'll find out. We don't know. All right. Okay, next, exclusive, an actual Microsoft exclusive, Crackdown 3, starring Terry Crews. All right. Terry Crews, not only is he the voice actor for the game, he's actually the main character. Like, it's him. Terry Crews is the main character in this game. It's pretty cool. I mean, Crackdown at this point, Crackdown 3 is looking to me like what Saints Row should have been, or kind of very similar to, say, Saints Row 3 and 4. Because remember, last year, Saints Row turned into a watered-down piece of crap with Agents of Mayhem. This game looks more like in line with what you expect from Saints Row. Hilarious, over-the-top antics. He has a grenade launcher that shoots a bunch of explosive rubber duckies and just big atmospheric explosions and everything. The game looks great. Doesn't look too serious. The graphics look good. Looks like a solid release. He says it's coming out February 2019. Holy fuck, February, right? February is going to be like one of the most packed gaming months in gaming history next year. Seriously, like the amount of games coming out early next year is out of control. All right. Then they announced, not an Xbox One exclusive, but an Xbox One X Enhanced Edition of Nier Automata. It's going to be called, I think it was like Nier Automata Enhanced or Definitive. I'm not exactly sure what it was. And they said basically it includes any DLC that was from the previous Nier Automata game. Releasing June 26th on Xbox One X. So if you didn't play Nier Automata because you only own an Xbox, now you can play it on June 26th. But most people who wanted to play it probably already played it. Okay, continuing on, they had a big trailer / some gameplay of Metro Exodus. I think most of us already know Metro Exodus, that it was coming out and what it is. The next continuation of the Metro franchise. It looks good. Graphics are great. Does it necessarily have any big innovations? I mean, there's some big boss baddies and stuff in the game that look pretty cool from the gameplay that was shown. But I didn't necessarily see anything that was like, wow, this is so different from previous Metros or anything like that. But it still looked good. And guess what? It comes out February 2019. In fact, it comes out February 22nd. So in 1 month, we're going to have Crackdown 3. On the same day, we're going to have Metro Exodus, Days Gone, and, oh god, I'm having a brain fart on the other third game. But basically, there's like 3 to 4 major games, if not on the same day, within weeks of each other in February, which is going to be insane. How do you choose? Right? Anthem. Anthem comes out February 22nd. So how are you going to choose in February? Wow, there's like going to be like 5, 6, 7 major releases all in 1 month. This year it was slow as dirt. This year, February had UFC 3, Shadow of the Colossus remake, Dynasty Warriors 9, The Secret of Mana remake, nothing. It was dead this year. Next year it's going to be like Gaming Month Central for some reason. It's going to be pretty wild. All right. So there you go. February next year, crazy. Metro Exodus coming out on the 22nd of February. Looked pretty good. Up next, Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, this was also, for me, a highlight of the conference because we finally got more information about the game. In this gameplay trailer, it confirmed Frozen will be a world in Kingdom Hearts 3. Shows characters like Olaf and the like fighting, ice enemies, and the fact that the people of the, that order who are part of the main part of the plotline of Kingdom Hearts are messing with the characters in the Frozen world, trying to make Elsa become evil rather than eventually turn good and stuff like that. Looked pretty interesting. The Gummy Drop ship, remember the Gummy Bears Gum Drop ship returns as well. They show some of those stages in the game, so those are still in it. Then they show Hercules, so apparently Hercules World apparently is going to be back. Monsters, Inc. we already knew about, as well as Toy Story. But then they showed Tangled. That's right, the world of Tangled is also going to be part of this game. It's going to have a Tangled world. So that's another kind of new world announcement for this trailer. At the very end of it, they showed some story with Mickey captured, and I guess some girl named Aqua is going to be a main character, and people are telling me, oh, she's from Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance and Dark Dream Distance by Sleep Drops Don't Die and fucking convoluted storyline, whatever those spin-off games were. Apparently she may be from there. And apparently she's now like one of the main villains of the game. She was revealed at the very end of this gameplay trailer. So it's like, okay, I guess that's cool. Except I'm super confused about the game plot anyway, so I'm probably not going to give a crap. But I do like the fact that you got Frozen, you got Tangled, you're getting more modern Disney stuff. Previously Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 had mostly old Disney stuff. Now you're moving into the newer worlds, and that's pretty cool, and I like that a lot. So that's really neat. All right, let's do... It's Death by Chocolate. Oh, Dream Drop Death by Chocolate. Birth by Sleep Death by Chocolate. Let's do some shout-outs. Bionichute tipped me $1. He says, fuck the haters, you're a great at Cuphead when you play the DLC. We'll talk about that, Bionichute. We haven't gotten to that yet, but thank you for the tip. Black Mage C-Type Charity says, I know it's popular to be negative, but I honestly thought this was the best E3 presentation Microsoft has ever done because it wasn't perfect and had boring, cringeworthy moments, but it was definitely a personal best for them, and they actually announced some good games I'm interested in for a change, so C+ is impressive for one who usually does a D- at best. AES Charity says, since they're bringing Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Xbox, they better bring the collection of 1 and 2 to the Xbox as well. And Kate just cheered, said, February is now the new October. You know, last October was packed with Wolfenstein, Evil Within, you know, and other games all within like 2-3 weeks. So now February of next year apparently is October of last year. Yeah, it seems like, you know, October, November typically are the game months that are packed. Now it's February for some reason. Figure that one out. Eternal Napalm Charity said Halo, Forza Gears, rinse and repeat. Well, we'll get to those, but I think Eternal Napalm is kind of getting it when it comes to these Microsoft press conferences and the exclusives. So we'll get to that. But okay, let's continue on. So Kingdom Hearts. So far I would say Sekiro and Kingdom Hearts, the two highlights for me, sounded really great. Okay. Exclusive. Microsoft exclusive. Sea of Thieves. Oh, so like exclusive. Ooh, what could it be? Sea of Thieves. Oh, fuck. Man, that game stunk so bad back in March. We don't want to hear more about that. So what it is, there's going to be 2 new expansions for Sea of Thieves that apparently are free. One's called the Cursed Sails that's coming out in July. One's called the Forsaken Shores of September. Both of them feature new locations, new enemy types, cursed lands, crazy shit, supposedly. And apparently they are free. But I think out of all the things in this press conference, all right, because I thought this was the funniest one. And here's why I say this. So, you're watching this, and the actual story going on is that a pirate walks up to this witch and hands her this red globe that reveals all these plot lines and trailer, you know, all this gameplay's coming up. So at the end of it, she tells him all this stuff about all this new content coming up, and she goes, so what do you think? And he's not even paying attention. He's over here bored, he's like reading his compass or something. He's dicking around. Huh? He turns to her, oh yeah, that sounds great. And she's like, you just want the money for this, don't you? Now, you may think that's funny. A pirate only cares about money. But what an allegory to Sea of Thieves. Wow, there's a new announcement for Sea of Thieves. I don't care. Get to the next thing. Because Sea of Thieves was dead on arrival. A game with no content on arrival. You could you see everything in the game within 8 to 10 hours. A game that they hyped for 2-3 years and fell flat on its freaking face at release. You know, very few people actually bought the full game. Most people got it for free via Xbox Game Pass, getting their free trials because the Game Pass had just launched right before that game. And so, you know what I mean? Like, the trailer itself for new content saying that the pirate is bored of the game is hilarious because we're all bored of it too. What a crazy coincidence that I guess someone thought it would be funny to say that, and then we're all thinking the same fucking thing, right? That was pretty funny. So, it's hilarious. Oh, it's hilarious because now we got the Xbox fanboys in the street. But the game sold 5 million copies. Wrong. 5 million people played the game via Xbox Game Pass and didn't pay a single penny to fucking play it. That's the stat that Microsoft gives you when they say Sea of Thieves sold 5 million copies. Wrong. It actually had 5 million people playing it, and they pretend like 5 million people bought it because that's how they like to play with the numbers. They've always done that shit. Okay, let's move on. So they say, oh, this new gameplay feature is based on a true story of a Norwegian who went during the combat, was attacked by the Germans and blah, blah, blah. It just ends up being a Battlefield 5, one of their story-based campaigns. Much as I said during my EA press conference recap and reactions, Battlefield 5 is going to have a campaign that's based off of mini stories. So one of them is going to be some Norwegian guy. Okay, and that was it. It was really like no information at all. Exclusive. So, you see cars driving, a lot of cars driving, a lot of variety of cars driving, and it's covering a Who song. That song I could see for miles and miles, and I'm sorry you just don't cover the Who. The Who cannot be covered properly. If you try to cover them, you're always going to sound worse, but that's my personal opinion. It's Forza Horizon 4. Now, normally, I wouldn't care about a driving or racing game, but I played Forza Horizon 3, and I actually quite liked the game, despite the fact that there were some things I did not like forcing you to do drift challenges when I don't like drifting and stuff like that in those games. I actually very much enjoyed Forza Horizon 3, so Forza Horizon 4 will be set in Great Britain, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently on the Xbox One X, there'll be a special edition that runs at a full 60 frames per second. The game actually has seasons, okay? So actual transition between different kinds of weather, depending on what season it actually is in the game. And they show some of that. Oh, in the spring, it's one thing, but in the winter, the flake freezes over, and now you have access to other areas and stuff like that. Sounds pretty interesting. Of course, they're showing it's the big open-world co-op. Everyone can join the same game and drive around and interact with each other like they used to. I mean, that's nothing new. That was like that in 3 as well. So it looked pretty good. And they were like, October 2nd is its release date, so it's coming out this year, October 2nd, so that's pretty good. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 months, and the game's already out. And it will be available via Microsoft Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, you can play it, you don't have to buy the full game. I'm seeing a trend with these Microsoft games, seriously. Like, who is ever going to buy these games for $60 ever again when you just pay $10 a month and get everything under Game Pass, you know? So there you go. There was a big announcement. New studios. Or, I should rephrase that, studios that may not necessarily be new, some of these are, but they were acquired by Microsoft. The first is called The Initiative. They said it's going to be a new studio in Santa Monica that they're really trying to develop high-end Xbox exclusive titles with, which is hilarious because Sony Santa Monica, you know, the ones who just make Gears of War, the ginormously popular game. So now Microsoft thinks that if you're located in Santa Monica, apparently you have talent. So they created a team in Santa Monica to make their own first-party games. But they bought out a bunch of developers, including Undead Labs, who just released State of Decay 2 to massive mediocre reviews. Playground Games, who, no surprise, made Forza Horizon, so of course they bought them out. Ninja Theory, who made Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, that game last year that really explored kind of mental illness and stuff like that. Compulsion Games, who made We Happy Few. And I believe there's a few others, but that's the ones that they highlighted during the press conference. And then they went off to actually show a trailer for We Happy Few. The game looks like it has a ton more story and a lot more completed to it. It's almost completed. In fact, we got our release date. It's finally coming out August 10th. So yes, that game that I did the early access, you know, gameplay of 2 years ago in the summer of 2016 finally is releasing August 10th of this year. So there you go. We Happy Few finally coming out. All right, pretty good. Okay. Yes, Ninja Theory did make the reboot of Devil May Cry as well. They had a hand in it. That is correct. That is absolutely correct, guys. Did I say Gears of War again? I meant to say God of War with Sony Santa Monica, by the way. My apologies. I'm starting to read the stream chat now. Okay, a few more shout-outs. Let's see here. Aust Mink did 100-bit cheer. He says, cracked open a Red's Wicked. Cheers, everyone. I'm still not getting an Xbox One, laughing out loud. San Villa cheers. He says, Red Dead is the reason that everyone is going in February. Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of people realize late this year, Red Dead Redemption 2 will dominate the game sales charts, and everyone's afraid to release their game later this year. That's why they're all going early next year. Good observation. Haseo X4 just reset for the 8th month in a row, and he says, I hope my bank account can support all these game releases for 2018 and 2019. I think, Haseo, a lot of people are in the same boat as you right now, and we're all kind of wondering how things are going to go with all these games, you know, going through a short period of time. So, all right, let's continue, and ladies and gentlemen, since I'm going into the second half of coverage for the Microsoft press conference, I'm going to switch over to the other template, although it's hilarious because, again, I got Call of Duty there and it wasn't discussed, but it is what it is, I guess. All right, let's continue. So up next, they showed, of all things, the one thing that we were all waiting with bated breath to see at E3 this year. Of course, it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. We all needed new content for that. So anyway, any of us who bought PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on the Xbox One this last year know how much of a joke the game is. The game chugs along, barely runs at 20 frames per second half the time. The gunplay is monstrously delayed, and the game in general is just not a very great game. People basically say if you get it on PC, you get a far superior experience, and it's unfair that people paid the same amount of money to play it on Xbox One when the game is far inferior, okay? Well, PUBG, my friends, PUBG is getting new content this summer, including, apparently, a new map / new game mode. They showed off a map that looks kind of like a jungle setting with more like wooden huts. And then they said there's a new game mode called War, where I guess it's even bigger squads going against each other. I don't know if it's going to be like 50 versus 50 or whatever, but it seems kind of interesting. So anyway, there you go. PUBG getting new content for free over the course of this summer. And they said in the winter, there might be a winter map because they actually showed snow on the ground. So I guess they're teasing when the winter comes, there'll be a new winter map in PUBG as well. Like it's some big freaking deal. I mean, they've added a new map. They've added all these gameplay tweaks and never fixed the frame rate or the delay in the responsiveness of the controls on Xbox One. So you could tell me there's a million new maps and a million new things until you actually fix the core gameplay mechanics. I don't really give a crap. But there you go. Okay. All right. Then the next thing that was announced was pretty much surprised everyone. Tales of Vesperia. Now that's a game I've never really talked to you guys about because Tales of Vesperia is a JRPG, action-based combat, but anime-style visuals that I actually played right before I became a YouTuber. It was actually, I believe, the summer of 2008. Don't quote me on that. It was either 2007 or 2008. I'm pretty sure it was 2008 that I played Tales of Vesperia before I ever recorded anything for YouTube. I really liked the game. I went back and got a ton of the achievements going through the game. I went back and did a lot of the things to get the higher level achievements and everything. I really liked Tales of Vesperia. They're re-releasing it called Definitive Edition, where it's going to have all the DLC content that was ever released for the game, better visuals, you know, frames per second. Everything's going to be amazing, and it's coming out for modern consoles winter of this year. We don't exactly know when, but probably by the end of the year. So there you go. That was a surprising announcement. Then they showed off The Division 2. So the plotline of The Division 2 is that whole infection or whatever that took over the planet has advanced. It took over Washington, D.C., and now it's up to the Division to basically try to go in and liberate Washington, D.C. They then showed gameplay of the game, which looked incredibly generic. It looks exactly the same as the first game with maybe some tweaks here or there. And honestly, it just doesn't look good. It looks boring. It looks like a team-based shooter. The only reason it's fun is because it's a team-based shooter. I'm sorry. The first game did not impress me. I skipped it, and people literally told me, good thing you skipped it, because you would have just been wasting time. It's a grinding, repetitive, team-based shooter that's not very unique or interesting. And now they're having a sequel coming out. And they did not give the exact release date, I don't think. But they did show a lot of gameplay of it, and that's it. So if you liked Division 1 or you like these grindy team-based shooters, good for you. Division 2 is coming up, but for me, it did not impress me whatsoever. I guess we'll have more information about that tomorrow when Ubisoft's press conference actually releases, okay? All right, couple more shout-outs. We got Matt Top 9, who cheered. He said, in regards to Kingdom Hearts 3, the Hercules and Tango worlds were confirmed since 2015. The only new world is Frozen. Okay, I certainly haven't been totally following those worlds, but there you go. Chairman Caleb cheered. He said, Ubisoft games have just been bleh lately with a couple of exceptions. What do you think? I mean, the only one I would say, you know, Assassin's Creed Origins last year was a breakout title for them because it completely changed up the franchise with the redeveloped gameplay engine and all of that. But outside of that, I agree. Ubisoft is just kind of, you know, Far Cry 5, it was good gameplay-wise, and the plot was terrible. Far worse than the last, you know, couple Far Cries. So it's kind of hit or miss with Ubisoft. All right, let's continue. Now it's the segment about Game Pass. Let's talk about Game Pass, guys. So Game Pass, as I already told you, their monthly subscription service. You pay a flat rate to Microsoft, and you get unlimited access to not only all of their new releases, but also a big library of past games. And so they took the opportunity here to explain that there's going to have a new system by which the games load faster. I didn't think that any of the games loaded slow to begin with. I had Sea of Thieves that didn't load slow for me, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. But they say games like The Division 1, Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 4 now available on Game Pass. Whoopity freaking doopity. Non-announcement. Okay. Then they went on to show what they do every year. They do this. They say, oh, now here's a montage of games. And literally within like 3 minutes, they show you like 20 to 30 games with the clips that are so short. There's no way you could get any coherent knowledge about any of the games that they show. So some of these games might have been Microsoft exclusive. Some of them maybe weren't. But there's no way to tell. It was very confusing. And I literally learned nothing about any of the games in the montage because it went so quick this year. I don't even know if I'm interested in any of those games. I hope that there is more information that comes out. It's just sad that these indie game studios, right, work their asses off to release a game. Oh, you're going to be at E3 this year. Wow, great. We're going to be at the Microsoft press conference. Oh, here we go. It showed like 2 seconds of your game and no one knows anything about it. So I hate that. I wish they would take more time focusing up on the games in that montage rather than the shit that we don't really care about. Like that whole Division 2 shit, literally 10 to 15 minutes, could have been 2 minutes, and then they could have spent another extra 13 minutes talking about all those other games, but no, let's focus on the crap. All right, let's continue. So then we had Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the final installment of this Tomb Raider prequel trilogy. I had no clue it would ever be a trilogy back in the day when I played that Tomb Raider reboot. And it shows some mechanics, but not really. Like, I don't really understand the plot. Someone wants to fuck over the world, and they're trying to use some kind of magical, crazy mumbo-jumbo, when it's up to Lara Croft to stop them in this brutal combat, and she's using her arrows and guns and throwing people over ledges and solving puzzles. It's Tomb Raider. It's Tomb Raider. Like, again, third game in the series, doesn't seem to innovate at all. It seems like it's exactly the same as the last two. I said this about the last one, that it was too similar to the first, and now here we go again. It looks like the same game again. You'll learn really nothing whatsoever by watching this trailer for the game. The game is coming out on September 14th. If you liked the last two Tomb Raider games, you'll probably really like it. If you didn't like the last two Tomb Raider games, or if you thought the last one was too similar to the first one, which I agree, you'll probably be disappointed. I mean, there's really nothing else there, right? Will I play it? A lot of people have asked me. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, there's a lot going on in September, including Dragon Quest XI, Spider-Man, the Spyro Collection, Code Vein. I don't know if I want to play Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I might have to make an executive decision and say if there's nothing going on that week, sure. But people told me the last Tomb Raider game was boring as dirt, you know, so why am I going to play this one? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Okay, up next, exclusive. Now, they show no real gameplay. It's just a trailer, but it's a new skateboarding game called Sessions. I don't know much about it. I don't know much about skateboarding in particular. I've only played a couple skateboarding games over the years. I've always sucked at them. And so in particular, this game, will it be good or not? Nah. I don't know. Simply because I don't know much about skateboarding. I don't know if it looked good to anyone or not. But a new skateboarding game coming out. And then another exclusive. Although it said, I believe this one was a timed exclusive. Black Desert. This is an MMORPG that's been on PC, on Steam for quite some time. Apparently is releasing on Xbox in the fall. I've heard mixed stuff about this. Some people have told me Black Desert's great. Some people have told me Black Desert is a complete disappointment because it has a lot of issues. It's an MMO. If you like MMOs and you want one on modern consoles, you're getting one with Black Desert. But I don't know, how successful this game will be on Xbox. I guess we have to see. Okay, it's hilarious. Someone in the stream chat just said, "Garbage. Avoid at all costs." And then somebody was like, "Oh, heck yeah, Black Desert. Good stuff." So I guess we'll see. Battle Duck hit me $1, and he says, "I got more interested in the short game showcase montage video than all of the first part of the conference." That's the thing. Like, that's why it's so disappointing. You watch for an hour, right? Oh, now we're going to do this montage. Oh, wait, stop, slow down. Let me see these games. These games might be interesting, but you spent so much time on this trash earlier. Let me see these good games, and then you don't get to see anything about them, which is very disappointing. Emperor Swaggins cheered. He said, Tomb Raider isn't bad, sure, isn't as good as Uncharted, but it's the same formula. But that's what I mean. It's more of the same. That franchise doesn't innovate. And because the franchise doesn't innovate, it doesn't really do anything that interests me. The first Tomb Raider reboot I thought was alright, okay? The next one that I played, which was, 2 years ago? I was completely unimpressed and kind of bored for a lot of the game. What's this new one going to be? I don't know. Aaron PC cheered and said, these IGN clowns are saying Microsoft conference was amazing. Of course, they're going to kiss everyone's butt. Don't worry. MTC dude cheered and said, hi, Charlie Brown. Whatever that means. All right. Let's continue on here, guys, okay? So, the next one. Not an exclusive, but it was an interesting world premiere. Devil May Cry 5. Do we see actual gameplay? No, but we did see a lot of full motion video kind of deal. It looks like Nero is going to be the main character. It's not Dante, but it's like a younger version, so maybe it's going to be his clone or whatever. And he, he has a fake arm. I guess his arm got ripped off, and he had to get a cybernetic arm, and there's some girl who's going to be like his assistant, his techie assistant, who gives him all kind of equipment during the course of the game. But, people got hyped because it is Devil May Cry, is in the mainstream plotline of Devil May Cry games, rather than like Devil May Cry's reboot was, which seems to be completely ignored and forgotten now. And in the very end, everyone's like, where the fuck's Dante? He's not in the whole trailer. At the very end, it shows Dante driving a motorcycle, and then it ends. So it's not clear if Dante will be a playable character or not, or if he'll be part of the plot or whatever. We have no idea. It's very hard to tell what the game's going to be. I'm sure it's going to play like the classic Devil May Cry games, but it didn't really there was no, here's gameplay, here we go, let's show you hardcore chunks of gameplay. There was nothing like that. It was just a trailer that you could tell was doctored to look good. I'm still excited for it. A new Devil May Cry game sounds great to me. But being that the last Devil May Cry game sounded good to me and everyone shat on it, I don't know how this one's going to go, quite frankly. I guess we're going to find out. Oh my god. Incidentally, my phone vibrated. I pick it up. I got an email from Capcom PR about Devil May Cry 5. I'm not even kidding. That it was just announced. Alright, so we'll see. But looks good. I mean, interesting. No release date or any information yet, but at least we know that it's coming, right? And then, of course, this game will run the best on Xbox One X. Anyway, like we believe that, right? But the two guys, the Japanese producer, or head of the project, as well as an American guy working on this game came out, and the guy who's in charge basically says, this is the best Devil May Cry I've ever worked on. I don't know if you should be making those kind of broad statements in 2018. I'm just saying, especially as the game comes out, it's nowhere near as good as the classics that people hold near and dear to their hearts as some of the best games ever made when it comes to hack and slash gameplay. But hey, the game dev said it's the best one ever, so I guess we should believe him, right? There you go. Shout out to Dickle in a Pickle, who subscribed to the channel. Amazing. And also, MTC Dude cheered again. He said, I have no idea what you're even talking about, and it's completely off topic, so I'm not reading it. There you go. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now you may understand what someone cheered about earlier. Cuphead is getting an exclusive DLC. Obviously, it's exclusive because the game is only on Xbox and PC anyway. It's going to have the Chalice girl. Remember the girl who was like the Chalice girl who gave you upgrades and stuff? Well, now she's going to be a playable character called Ms. Chalice, and this DLC is going to have a whole new island, new bosses, and little bit of new story, and it comes out in 2019. So 2019, more Cuphead action for all of us, all right? Very good. Excuse me. Excuse me. Up next, another exclusive. This game was kind of interesting because at first it looked like Zelda, but it had a fox, and like a human fox, like an anthropomorphic fox, who was doing combat that looked exactly like Legend of Zelda, only old school Zelda. Not modern Zelda, but old school Zelda. And really, the game kind of looks like an old school Zelda with different characters, and it's called Tunic, and there was no information about when it would release, but it looked pretty interesting to me. Like, that game might be my cup of tea because I grew up with classic Zelda, in particular Zelda, Link to the Past, and that might be a game that I'm interested in, although I don't know if people will actually watch it, but it certainly looked pretty good to me, so there you go. That's right, it's Furry Zelda. You guys hit it on the head in stream chat. Now, Phil Spencer says, that's it. For the rest of the press conference, everything you will see is an exclusive world premiere that you've never seen anywhere before. People getting hype, right? So, there's a trailer starts playing, and it shows, of all things, the ship from One Piece. But then it shows Naruto on top of a building. Like, huh? So all of a sudden it shows Luffy in the middle of a street. Then all of a sudden Naruto walks up. Then all of a sudden Goku walks up. What the fuck is going on here, right? Then Frieza walks out. So all of a sudden they start fighting each other. Like, holy shit. It's basically a Shonen Jump mashup. So all the characters from the popular Shonen Jump manga series are apparently going to be in a mashup arena-style fighting game. Sounds like an interesting premise. But will the game actually be balanced and fun, or will it end up being a broken mess, just like a gimmick kind of a game? I don't know. It's called Jump Force. We have no information on the release window, but it looked kind of interesting. The graphics definitely impressed. And then as they're fading away, all of a sudden it shows Death Note, right? It shows, what's his name? The actual, like, Reaper guy from Death Note. So it's like, wow, they really are going to have a lot of the Shonen Jump stuff. Even not just the three main franchises, but maybe they'll have one-off characters from all the different ones stuck in there. It could be pretty funny. So it looks good. I don't know. We'll see. Jump Force. Will it be good? Will it not be good? A lot of people have issue with these arena fighters. They say that they're not very good. So I guess we'll find out. There you go. Okay. Up next. A game that at first I had no idea what it was. It ends up being Dying Light 2. That's right. They're making a sequel to Dying Light from a few years back. Now, if you guys remember, I liked Dying Light, but that game had so many goddamn bugs at launch. It was just broken as shit, remember? It took away all my upgrade points and basically then re-gave them to me, but only in one skill tree. The game, I was able to phase into the wrong areas of the map and do weird shit that I wasn't supposed to be fucking doing. You see what I mean? Like, it was just a weird, broken game. It was fun, but it didn't seem finished. It seemed like it was, like, unfinished and very buggy, and because of that, I couldn't really legitimately rate it very high when I played it because the game was so unfinished and just messed up. Now, over the years, apparently they patched the shit out of this game, released DLCs, and apparently the game ended up being very successful in the long run. So now they're making a direct sequel, and they announced that there's basically some things that are going to be very different from the first game. Your choices will change the world, and so they play out this scenario. So you're running to these guys who control the water supply. Well, what happens if you kill them? It shows you kill one guy, you kick another guy off the building, they're dead. So now you're in charge of the water supply. But what ends up happening is basically the people who are now in charge of the water supply become kind of this dominating military force, and everyone has to do what they say if they want to drink the water, and if not, they basically are kind of executed in the streets. So it's like, oh god, it reminds me of like Nazi Germany, right? So they say, well, what happens if you did the other thing? What if instead of killing the people who controlled the water supply, you teamed up with them? Well, then you start a black market venture where you're selling the water and everyone has a lot of money, but because of that, you now attract the worst kind of elements. The worst humans in the area come because they all want to be a part of this, and they also want to try to see if they can take over the water supply. So basically, both outcomes are very different, and they could totally change the shape of the world, but neither of them were good. It was like shit outcome number 1 or shit outcome number 2. What is this, fucking Game of Thrones? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? It seemed like maybe there's a good choice or a bad choice. Instead, it was like 2 shit choices that both led to like a dire and dark outcome. I don't know how much I like that in my gameplay. So that being said, it's very interesting to hear that there's a new Dying Light game. Hopefully this time they polish the goddamn game before they release it, because it really seemed to me like the last one was broken on release. But I don't know about this choice system, if it leads to bad outcome after bad outcome. You know what I mean? I guess we'll find out. All right, shout out to BattleDuck9000 who tipped me $1 and says a Shonen Jump Battle Royal. Oh god, Battle Royal. I hope it's not Battle Royal. And Big Bosley just did a 50-bit cheers. I'm looking forward to you playing Tales of Vesperia. I see you got 100% of the achievements. Yeah, that's one of the few games. I liked that game so much back in the day that I actually played it, grinded the hell out of it, and got every single achievement in the game. Of course, there's no platinum achievements on Xbox 360 when I played it on, but it would have been a platinum if I played it on PS3, you know? So, yeah. Will I replay it? I mean, there's a chance. I don't know how much people are going to like me replaying it, and I mean, it's been a long fucking time, over 10 years since I played the game, so I don't know how much I'm going to remember about it, but I remember really enjoying the combat engine in particular. That game was really good. All right. Continuing on, guys. All right. So, out of nowhere, another exclusive, right? And it's basically talking about a game, you don't even know what game it is, and all of a sudden it shows a speeder bike hitting a pink wall, and then a tongue comes and licks it and sucks it off the screen. It's Battletoads. The return of Battletoads is going to be 2D HD artwork, hand-drawn. Basically, it's going to be a side-scroller, beat-em-up / platformer kind of action game, just like the original. And it says, coming in 2019 with no other information. They don't even show any real gameplay. It's just basically a big teaser that the Battletoads are returning. So I guess Rare Entertainment is actually doing something different. There you go. Then there was a big, there was an actual big, trailer for Just Cause 4. I'll be real with you guys. Just Cause 3, I thought the trailers for that game looked amazing. I played Just Cause 2 and really liked it. And then when I played Just Cause 3, I hated it because it just seemed like the same exact freaking game with little to no innovation, bugs, annoying things, and it just didn't seem fun. It was a boring, repetitive grind, and after playing it for a few hours, I dropped it and never went back to Just Cause 3. Do you really think I'm going to Just Cause 4? No. Like, I'm probably not going to play this game. It's probably just more of the same. The sad fact is it is coming out this year. It's coming out December 4th, but it's probably a skip for me because Just Cause 3 was so unfun. I don't know how I'm going to enjoy Just Cause 4. So, I don't know. I just got a cheer from Aust Mink, 100-bit cheers. Is ready to lose your upgrades again? I guess so. Or Dying Light 2. I guess I'm losing all my upgrades again. So then, they show Gears of War. Oh my god, Gears of War, a new Gears of War game. Everyone's getting hyped. And then all of a sudden, a wall explodes, and it's a Pop Funko figure. Now, I think everyone at this point knows what Pop Funko figure is. They're in every fucking store. You see these little figurines, right? They're a fad. They're going to eventually fall out of popularity. But for now, they're a very popular little figure of all your popular pop culture characters. Every character in this Gears game is a Pop Funko character. And apparently it's coming out in 2019. It's called Pop Gears. And it's a mobile game. So everyone was deflated thinking, oh crap, that really sucks. Because we were really expecting to hear more information about a full Gears of War game. Oh, but wait, they're not done yet. Then they say there's a new Gears of War game coming. Oh shit, it looks serious. They show the graphics. Wow, it looks like the real modern Gears of War. It's coming. A new Gears game. No! Gears of War Tactics. It's basically a turn-based kind of RPG style, almost RTS game. Think XCOM. So it's Gears XCOM. That's coming out too. They didn't give a date. Probably next year. Gears Tactics. So again, oh my god, Gears of War. Oh fuck. Pop Gears. Oh wait, another Gears of War. Yes, here. Fuck. Gears Tactics. Are we going to get a real Gears game here or what, right? What the hell's going on? So then finally, by the way, shout out to Bronx Bull, who just subscribed to the channel. After all that teasing, they're like, haha, we were just fucking with you. There really is a new Gears game, Gears 5. And then they showed a giant story-based trailer for it. Apparently, the character Kate from Gears 4 is one of the main characters. You know, she had a big tie-in with the Locust and stuff, and we're trying to figure out what that's about. And, you know, Marcus Phoenix is still in it, his son is still in it, and everything. So all these characters are still in it, and they're going to be going around killing things. And I'll be honest with everyone. Gears 4, did I love it? No. Did I hate it? No, I actually thought it was a decent game. But when I played it, almost no one cared. It seemed to me like the mainstream appeal of the Gears franchise died with the original trilogy, because we didn't even know there was going to be more games, right? They ended up getting sold off to the Coalition or whatever, making these games. And so, You know, the original dev team is gone, done with it. Cliff Bleszinski, as you know, went off to make his own studio, failed miserably, and now they're out of business. So it's like Gears continuing on without the heart and soul of the original franchise, much like Halo. To a lot of people, it said, man, after that original trilogy, Halo fell off and just isn't very good anymore. And I agree. You know, like Gears 4 wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't great, and it didn't feel as good as the previous Gears games. And honestly, not a lot of people cared about watching me play it, you know? Same thing I get the feeling will be with Gears 5. It's like, why are they're making all these Gears games, but who's playing them, and is there massive interest in these or not? Because I really don't see a lot of people who get interested in Gears, so it's bizarre to me that they're really pushing Gears down our throat like this is our major franchise, you must play it. It might be that Microsoft just has so few Microsoft exclusives, they have to keep pushing Gears down our throat because they just don't got nothing else. Even if it doesn't sell that well, they still don't got nothing else, right? I mean, 3 new Gears games coming out, mobile game, tactics game, and now a real Gears installment. So anyway, Gears 5 is supposed to be coming out in 2019. There you go. Flattish Soup just did a cheer. He said, DSP hype for Gears versus Rabbids. Yes, the newest cash-in, you know, crossover ever. Gears versus Rabbids coming out next year. No, that's not. That's bullshit made up, okay? All right. Then they talk about all this other new stuff that's coming out for Microsoft. This is basically Phil Spencer comes out and he's like summarizing the end of the press conference. Looks like it's going to end any moment, okay? Microsoft is developing new AI, so the characters in their games moving forward will be more revolutionary and better to interact with. It'll be a lot more fun. We're also working on making cloud streaming a lot better, so anyone will be able to play our games from any device in the future. You don't have to worry about, you know, having that crazy-ass great internet connection or hardware. We're trying to make cloud streaming better, yada, yada, yada. And then Phil Spencer said, in my opinion, one of the most untruthful statements I've ever heard spoken at E3. Okay, you ready? These words came out of Phil Spencer's mouth. Are you ready? You ready, guys? I'm not making this up. He actually said this. Prepare yourselves. Tighten your pants. Get your stress balls ready. Squeeze them. Everything you need. I couldn't believe he actually fucking had the gall to say this at the Microsoft press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, not my words, Phil Spencer's words. Let's see. I cannot wait to see the stream chat's reaction to what I'm about to read you. He closed the press conference saying this: you will always experience the best in gaming on Xbox. What? You're closing your press conference. You're closing your press conference. It's over. If we look back at the exclusives, all right, how many exclusives were blowing you out of the water exclusives? I mean, Crackdown 3, okay, looks fun. More Sea of Thieves content. Forza Horizon 4, it's an existing franchise, nothing fucking special there, right? I guess We Happy Few. Sessions, the new skateboarding game. Black Desert being on Xbox One first. The Cuphead DLC, the new Tunic game that looks like a furry Zelda. Battletoads coming out next year, right? I mean, I'm going through all the things I wrote exclusive. Did any of these things tell you you can only experience the best gameplay experiences on Xbox? No. These are all the best games of the Microsoft press conference were all cross-platform games. Guess what one of the best games of this year is I didn't play on Xbox? God of fucking War, Phil. So what the hell are you talking about? Like, the best games very often are not available on Xbox. They're only PS4 exclusives, and you got to go buy a PS4. I couldn't tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, when God of War released this year, how many people who I follow them on Twitter, they're in my timelines of social media, they come to my streams. How many people told me, Phil, I finally caved. I was always an Xbox, hardcore fan. But bottom line, I wanted to play God of War. The game looks amazing. I bought a PS4 just to play it because I can't play it on Xbox. Mr. Phil Spencer, you will always experience the best in gaming on Xbox is a blatantly false statement. You literally lied to everyone through your teeth at your own press conference. Tons of great exclusives that are the best in gaming are only on PS4, and shame on you for making it sound like you guys are the best when in reality you're not. I'm sorry. The Xbox One is a great console. It has great backwards compatibility, and yes, it has great cross-platform games. The exclusives for Xbox One are absolutely nowhere near as good as the exclusives on PS4, and that's a factual comparison. That's not an subjective or, that's apples to apples. The games that are PS4 exclusives are better than the Xbox One exclusives, and you cannot make a statement like that at your press conference and expect, people like me are just going to let it slide. Phil Spencer, you are a liar in 2018, and you owe an apology because that was fucked up to lie like that to everyone. All right. That being said, the press conference is ending, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it looks like the screen's being hacked. So obviously they had a special surprise in store for everyone. To close off the show, it's a presentation of Cyberpunk 2077 with what seems to be fun cutscenes, new characters, maybe even a little bit of gameplay element shown off here on this trailer. I really don't have much to say about it, only it looked really good to me. CD Projekt Red really bought my loyalty with Witcher 3, which in my opinion was one of the best games of a few years ago, if not the best game that year. So thumbs up to this. I can't wait for Cyberpunk. The only disappointment, literally no information about, oh, when it's coming out or anything like that. It was just a nice trailer to show off the first information about this game, but nothing new about the game whatsoever. All right, so interesting, but I wish there was more meat there to the information, okay? That Indie Glow cheered. He says Gears needs to add horror back. Kate cheered. Said I'm a star in Gears. I guess because there's a girl in the game called Kate. And AES cheered. Said all the exclusives are also available on PC. That's why my score keeps dropping them to a 7 out of 10. Random Ron says you look at the past exclusives on PS4 like Neo, Persona 5, God of War, Bloodborne, etc. compared to past exclusives from Xbox One. Exactly, and that's kind of the point I'm making. When Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, says you will always experience the best in gaming on Xbox, what the fuck are you talking about, Phil? I mean, there's so many games, so many fucking games that have come out only on PS4 that you cannot play on an Xbox console or a PC. You need, if you want the best in gaming, you must own a PS4 at this point in time. How can you make a blatantly lying statement like that? That's fucked up, okay? Ally Guy cheered. He said Halo Infinite will be their last chance to show that the series can actually still be good. I agree. I think the mainstream Halo games aren't that good anymore, you know? I agree there. But one thing, before I summarize and I tell you honestly what I thought about in general about this press conference, the one startling omission that was not at the press conference, they didn't talk at all about their new accessible controller. Now, this was big gaming news. This came out about 2-3 weeks ago that Microsoft, behind the scenes, not even revealing anything to anyone, have been working on a controller. It's large, it has touch pads and a bunch of ports for accessories for people who don't have full mobility, i.e., you know, handicapped people who don't have the full mobility of someone like you or me, who are, you know, people who are not handicapped, to play a video game. And so this controller is revolutionary. Yes, it's expensive. I believe it costs over $100, but this controller is going to allow people to interact with games like never before. And games are going to be developed for compatibility with this controller. And it's a big deal that, you know, handicapped gamers will now actually be able to play games that previously were inaccessible to them because the control schemes were too difficult for someone who doesn't have full mobility like everybody else. And this is big news. Why the hell didn't they talk about that? With all the bullshit, right, that they had in this press conference, almost 2 hours, you couldn't cut 5-10 minutes of that shit out to talk about something you actually been working on that's actually pretty damned awesome and actually would make you look good. Like, it baffles me. Like, I thought for sure this would be on a major thing at their press conference and I would love to hear about it. Nothing. Instead, we get the fluff, we get the crap, you know, we get the stuff that you usually get at every single E3 that no one really cares about, and instead we don't get to hear about an actual positive development from the company. You tell me, but instead we got to have a lying statement from Phil Spencer at the end of the press conference instead. Kate just cheered and says, I don't even play games on Xbox One. I mostly play on PS4, even though I own an Xbox One, laughing out loud. And Eternal Napalm cheered and said, I always love and respect your zero bullshit content. Truth Hammer needed and dropped on Phil Spencer. Enjoy these bits. Well, thank you very much, Eternal Napalm. I will never pull punches. I'm sorry. You know, I actually like Phil Spencer. I think Phil Spencer is a nice guy and an entertaining and personality and a good guy to lead the studio. I mean, way fucking more than Don fucking Matrick, that's for sure. But when you say shit like that, you got to get called out because that was fucking horse donkey do, okay? Whatever a horse donkey is, it was the do that came out of its asshole. So overall, the truth is the Microsoft press conference was not bad. I'm going to go through the list again. Here we go. All right, Halo Infinite, don't know what it is. Ori 2, meh. Sekiro from Software, great announcement. A little bit more about Fallout 76, meh. A new game from Don't Nod, could be good, could not. We don't know too much about it. Looks interesting, you know, kind of like Life is Strange. Crackdown 3 looks pretty good to me. An enhanced version of Nier on Xbox, okay. Metro Exodus looks really good. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks really good. Sea of Thieves content, nah. You know, Battlefield 5 campaign didn't really impress me. Forza Horizon 4 looks decent, okay. The fact that Microsoft is buying up all these new game studios and supporting them to make great new games is great in my opinion. New PUBG content. I mean, I don't like the game, but hey, if you bought the game like me and you want new content for the money that you spent, there you go. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition sounds good. Division 2, meh. Game Pass being better is okay, I guess. Tomb Raider, eh. Session and Black Desert, I mean, don't know too much about those to really comment on them. Devil May 5 Cry was good, right? So, Cuphead DLC is good. Tunic looked good. This new Jump Force Shonen Jump mashup game looks pretty good. Dying Light 2. Battletoads. Just Cause 4, meh. Pop Gears and Gears Tactics, don't really care. Gears 5, okay, maybe. And then, of course, Cyberpunk. So there was actually a lot. I mean, there's 10 to 12, maybe even 14 announcements there that were really solid. I can't say the Microsoft press conference sucked. It didn't. The Microsoft press conference was good. In fact, in terms of content at a press conference, I'd probably give it a B. It's actually that good. It had that much content in it, that enough good game of reveals and stuff. I give it a B. The problem is with Microsoft, almost none of the great game announcements were exclusives. Okay, that's great. You're showing the world premiere at E3, but it's going to be on PS4 too. And people want PS4 because it has the better exclusives. So why, again, am I buying an Xbox? Meh. I don't know. You, again, another year, you have not sold me on why do I need an Xbox. And year after year, they claim they're the best platform. They claim that they're the place to be. They still haven't convinced me of it. So I give them a B because of the amount of fun content in their presentation. But most of it wasn't exclusive. And therefore, I don't know how they're really helping their company with press conferences like this. Real talk. All right. All right. So final shout-outs. 0036 did 100-bit cheers. I'm happy a serious player like Microsoft is pushing PC gaming as much as I love the 360. I got an anonymous dollar tip and says, well, you know, maybe the new controller isn't far along enough to actually show anything concrete yet. That could be. Octoa cheered and said, can't wait for Sony's conference tomorrow. And Calling cheered. He said, at least Microsoft is finally showing they're getting serious about games by buying studios. It will take time. Yeah, you know what? I do agree there. I have to wholeheartedly agree with Calinx that at least showing they're serious about new game IPs, game development, and bringing in talented game developers because they realize the people they got working on their exclusives now ain't so good. That's a good sign. And I am pleased to know they are acquiring studios that have put out quality games. But where are the quality games now? How many years are you going to skirt? You know what I mean? And it's hilarious because so many people ran out and bought the Xbox One X at the end of 2017. They bought into that marketing campaign. Xbox One X is the most powerful console. You'll play the best, most powerful games on it. Everyone bought it, and there's no exclusives to play on it. Pope fucking G, that's what you're playing on the Xbox One X? I mean, come on. So press conference-wise, thumbs up from me, B, but actually, you know, promoting your company, not very good. It's hilarious the Microsoft press conference didn't actually do much for Microsoft. It did good for gaming and gamers, but didn't really do much for Microsoft whatsoever. All right, lastly, BattleDuck tipped me a buck and said, at this point, Sony would have to really mess up after EA and Microsoft to not land in the top conference spot this year. But we got Bethesda. We got Bethesda tonight, and who knows what Square Enix and Ubisoft have in store. Don't write those guys out, all right? All right, guys, that is it. For my recap and reactions to the Microsoft press conference, I managed to cover around 2 hours in an hour. That's great. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Share yourselves the tips on the stream. Thanks for watching on YouTube. I'll be covering all the other press conferences coming up, so thank you. And that is it for Microsoft. See you for the other ones coming up soon.